Welcome back. This is your Professor Dr. Venkatraman. This is in continuation with the intermediate modifying devices, where we were discussing about the telemetric devices. Okay, just to brief or recall, we the general telemetric device we have seen in this block diagram, and certain advantages and disadvantages we have discussed, like the recording of the data is possible, like channels, then capacity, weight, and some sort of a till the data till the failure of the system will be recorded and placed, something like that. And certain disadvantages like complexity and expensiveness we have discussed. Okay, then in continuation, the telemetric transmitting or the telemetry system consists of majorly two circuits or two systems, we can say. One is transmitting system, the other one is receiving system. See, the telemetric transmitting system uses subcarrier oscillators. We call it as SCOs. Okay, whose frequencies are controlled by the input signals with the help of appropriate transducer elements. Okay, see, different varieties of audio frequency channels are used, or rather we can say they are employed, right? With the frequency of each oscillators or subcarrier oscillators modulated by the magnitude of corresponding input signals. The outputs from all these SCOs are mixed and fed to phase modulated transmitter, which relays the combined information to a remote receiving station. Okay, at the receiving end, there are in a similar manner there are different subcarrier frequencies which are separated using filters. Okay, filters we can also call as a discriminating circuits. Means it will try to differentiate the different frequencies. All right, and the information from the individual channels are recorded by any of the conventional method. Okay, the the operation is time controlled. Okay, it is controlled. Time controlled means within the stipulated period of time. Okay, it is initiated by the pilot or the control from a recording installation with the help of radio links. In the sense, it is understood that the radio links and their frequencies plays a role in this telemetric system. So the transmitting system, we understood that there is some sort of an oscillators, subcarrier oscillators, okay, which will send these frequencies, which are sent the frequencies to the receiving end. Okay, so this is the pictorial representation of telemetric transmitting device. See, the extreme end you can see an antenna. Okay, so the antenna, the arrows are showing outside, in the sense the information has been sent or relayed or distributed out. Okay, you can see subcarrier oscillators. There are different subcarrier oscillators are there, around 3 or 4 depending on our requirements. One is for measuring of position, the other is for temperature, the other one is for acceleration, etc. So it depends which one, which parameter is required by the receiving end, we don't know, but all these things is possible here with the transmitting device. We are transmitting or we are trying to measure the input signals of different parameters, and which are been transmitted through a radio link with separate frequencies. Okay, now what happens, all these things are let out into the air, say for example. So those frequencies are everywhere, it is going across. The only thing what we need to do is we need to during the receiving end, whatever is required for us only need to be tuned, so that say I want to measure acceleration, I need to tune only that one, so that that frequency will show that the acceleration, regarding acceleration only. Okay, like that. See, there is some battery connection, then a circuit is there, then a subcarrier oscillator is there for each and every parameter which is there, which need to be collected from the input signal and passed through this subcarrier oscillator, through a transmitter, and through to the antenna and to the atmosphere. Okay, so this is about the pictorial representation of your telemetric transmitting devices. Okay, now see, you can check out this figure number 2 or second one parallelly. See, it is quite opposite. It is a receiving system. See, first of all, there is an antenna here and a receiver. Then the other things like recorders, etc., etc. Okay, so what happens here is, in the receiving end, the signal will be there in the open atmosphere. The antenna here is acts as a receiver. There it is a transmitter. The antenna is acting as a transmitter there. From the transmitter to the antenna and out. Now here, from the atmosphere into the antenna to the receiver. So it is a receiving. It receives all the frequencies which is there available in that particular area. Now the receiver will collect all the information, send it to a circuit where this subcarrier, what you call distributor, discriminator will be there. In the sense, their oscillator will be there. Here, discriminator will be there. So the a sort of a filter will be kept here. What is the purpose of this discriminator is it acts like a filter and filters a particular frequency only. Like the transmitted system has transmitted 3 parameters, for example, acceleration, temperature, and some pressure, say. Now here the discriminator 1 is capable of filtering only pressure. In the sense, the signal related to pressure will be understood by this subcarrier discriminator. That oscillator will be sending the pressure signal. Same frequency will be received here, tuned, discriminated, and the output is given to some or the other device, which is a recorder or a displayer or a some sort of a indicator, like light indicator, yes or no, or a red light, a green light, something like that, or a meter number, etc. So this is what is one discriminator work. Next, similarly, the same receiver will be having other frequencies also. So we need to have discriminator 2, 3, subcarrier discriminator 2, 3, like that. In the sense, we require different filters, maybe filter 1, 2, 3, like that. 1 is meant for pressure, 2 is meant for acceleration, 3 is meant for temperature, etc., like that. We need to put it here and filter the required frequency and send it to a recorder or a display unit. So this is how this receiving system will work and a transmitter system will be working. Okay, so the best example what we can quote is our television dish TV. So Tata Sky will say, Tata Sky has got one dish, it is put the top of your house. Now what happens, there is a receiver there. Now in the atmosphere, the Tata Sky will maintain a particular frequency and sending. So the receiver will receive that one, and our TV screen, there is some circuit will be provided. That circuit will try to discriminate and channelize each frequency, and when you tune it, we will get different channels like star, G, DD, something and all like this. In that also again sub frequencies which will try to give you particularly like star plus, star movies, star something like that. Okay, like that different frequencies will be filtered and we can tune it and see as a display. There is every possibility that not only display of the picture and voice, you can also record. Okay, so like that the system works. Example, you can code it as what you call the TV. Okay, right. Next is sir, there ends your what you call the intermediate modifying devices. So we understood two sections, that is input devices, that is sensors. Second one is intermediate modifying devices, and what are the elements which does what sort of work we understood. The best examples we can quote is the Bourdon tube gauge and these telemetric devices. Apart from that, electrical circuits which are used like ballast circuit, current sensitive circuits, then capacitance circuits, displacement circuits, something and all we have, or inductive type of circuits we have all checked it out. We understood to certain extent. Now the last part of the measuring system is terminating device. If you recall the block diagram of general measuring system, there is a stage 1 detector, stage 2 intermediate modifying devices, and stage 3, that is terminating devices. So these terminating devices we need to understand now. What is this terminating device? Sir, the name itself is indicating it is terminated, in the sense the last step of anything. The input signal is sensed by a sensor, modified by intermediate modifying devices, and it is should be displayed or recorded or kept as some record. So that part is being done here. That is at the last point. It is the conclusion with which we will understand that a particular parameter, a particular aspect is like this, which is understandable by us. In the alphanumerical form it will be displayed, or a yes or no form it may display, etc. Okay, then the stage 3 elements, they are useful for any of the measuring system, and depending on its ability to present the measured quantity in a form which can be understood fully by human operator or any other controlling device. So you need to understand this. See, the terminating device should be capable of presenting the measured quantity. Okay, the input device has taken, modifying device has been modified, but now that information need to be displayed, which is understandable by us. Okay, in the sense entire information which it has modified or taken from the input signal need to be understood by us, which is given or shown by terminating device. Or the same system or same device, if it is capable of controlling, then the controller should understand what to do. So now if the intermediate modifying device is giving an output signal which will become an input to terminating device, the device is controllable unit. Say for example, automatic speed control is there. So what happens after, say for example, vehicle speed 60 km or 80 km speed you go, what happens? There should be a beep sound. Nowadays this technology is implemented. There will be a beep sound if you cross 80 km per hour speed. Now if it is an indication for us, but if there is a controller, then this beep indication should activate the controller. How? It should cut down the speed immediately within the 80 only. It should not permit to go beyond 80. So this sort of thing it should understand and control. Controller should be activated, and the machine or the vehicle should be receiving the feedback signal to control the speed and maintain it up to 80 kilometers per hour only. So this is how this system works as a terminating device. Okay, unless otherwise the input signal to the controller or the terminating device is understandable, we cannot go for some judgment like stop or stop or run, something like that, like signal point. We understand red light is for stop, we don't go move the vehicle. Green light comes, we'll move. Yellow light comes means it's only to start. So like this, we need to understand the output given by the terminating device. Okay, right. Now the other point is, the primary function of a terminating device is to accept the analogous driving signal and to provide output for the immediate reading or for recording. In the sense, for example, we'll switch on the fan. What happens immediately when switch on that what you call switch? If you on it, the fan starts rotating. Means there is a immediate output is shown. Whereas if you check out the tube lights, for example, that too old one, if you switch on, it will blink. It takes its own time, blink, cluck, cluck, then it glows. Means the output is taking its own time. Okay, like that. So here the primary function of any terminating device means the input is given by the intermediate modifying device. Okay, so that signal it has to take it and give immediately the output. Means some display, like say for example the same light switch, if I do switch on means in that traffic signals, if I take a switch on red light means red light should be there immediately. If I switch on today, tomorrow it is glowing, it doesn't make any sense. Okay, immediate the output should be there for the indicating device or the recorder. Otherwise there is no meaning. Okay, it's like this. Say for example you are a some CID officer, for example. Now you have gone to some man to collect some information in a general manner, and you have switched on your recorder. You go talk and come, the recorder did not start. What is the fun here? No, you should understand like this. Okay, the recorder should immediately start as and when this intermediate modifying devices gives a input signal to it. Okay, then it should record and display it in an understandable manner within no time. This is the primary function of any of the terminating devices as such. Now check it out. For direct human interpretation, a terminating device should provide certain information. First one, if we check out a relative displacement, for example, a pointer moving over a scale. Okay, pointer movement, speedometer, analog speedometer, tachometer, or some voltmeter, something like that. Light beam and scale. Okay, there is a light and light beam will be there and scale will be there. So your comparators and all those things you have seen, light instrument. Then barometers, liquid column. Okay, barometer, you can check it out. Okay, such type of things. Barometers will have scale and liquid level is your measurement. So such type of things. So this is what is we call it as a relative displacement. Means an input signal is given to an this output device. There is one pointer which is displaced from 0 to some value. That is your output. That is a record, and you can see, you can read out, or you can measure it, or you can record it. Something like that you can do. Next one is the digital form will be there. So digital form is nowadays everybody it's a digital world. So everybody knows what is a digital form. For example, you take your motor vehicle, digital speedometer is there. There is no pointer now. Number, just you give a push, there is a display 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 immediately. Yes sir, within no time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6 like that. 10, 20, 30. If you come down, speed is cut down. Similarly backwards, 30, 29, 28, 25, 20 like that, it will come down immediately. Whereas if you observe analog meters, the pointer will take its own time to start. Okay, and even if you suddenly make it 0, it doesn't come to 0 immediately. It takes some time. So that is how this digital form is different from that. You go to banks, the what you call money counting machines. Okay, those are also digital form. Number it shows immediately. Okay, like that, digital forms. See examples: odometer. Odometer means RPM, right? In an automobile, speedometer. Okay, a rotating drum, mechanical counters. Sir, money counting machines. Petrol bunk. If you go petrol bunk, there is a machine. It shows money as well as how much quantity, liters. It is also a mechanical counter. Okay, so this such type of things are in the digital form. Okay, then the other third one is yes or no limiting type. It's really wonderful. Sir, I hope oil indicators. Maybe in your vehicle it doesn't show. Maybe you have to check out what is the level. But that Suzuki vehicle is there no earlier. Indo Suzuki, TVS Suzuki motorbikes. There they have given one red light indication. That is oil level. Once the oil level comes down, it shows indication because the light will glow. So that is how this the indicators will work. See, presence of light is yes, absence of light is no. Like this we can understand the oil level is come down to zero or some below the minimum level. We call them as what you call SR note indicators. The what happens is once the oil level at certain level we should maintain. Below that level, if it comes, it automatically initiates that red light. Which is shown, which is glowing on the dashboard, and the driver or the owner will understand that the oil level has come down and red light is glowing. So this is how the output devices will understand. We will understand. Okay. So these things we call it as SRO. See, even pilot lamps on equipments we said we will say. Okay. Thus the indication of light will tell the presence of some element or absence of that element. Okay. So this is how this yes and no type of systems will be working. Next one is see, these three types of forms are existing now. I hope you are lucky people. You understand there is a meter. Meters are also there which are analog. Meters are also there which are digital, and even certain elements like yes or no also. Like light indicators. When you switch on, I hope the neutral light will come. That is indicator. No, neutral. It is in the neutral. Okay. If it is not in the neutral, it is understood that the vehicle is in gear and you have to put it into the neutral, then kickstart. So like this, there are different types like this we understood. So these are the terminating elements which communicate in this form. Next one is see, most of the dynamic mechanical measurements they require electrical terminating devices due to poor response characteristics of mechanical devices. Sir, we understood long back that mechanical devices possesses friction, inertia, okay, backlash, all those things. So what it does is directly the response is delayed. Yes or no? Now friction is there. You need to apply more pressure or more input to show the minimum output. So this will definitely cause some or the other errors. So the response is poor by the mechanical elements as compared to the electrical systems. Okay, even pneumatic systems are also not capable of competing with the electrical systems. Pneumatic, there is n number of problems like leakage of air, pressure, etc., will be there. You need to contain. Okay, sealing should be proper. Otherwise, they show some or the other errors. And similarly with the optical systems, there are some or the other variations as compared to the electrical systems. Okay, so now we already understood that the electrical systems are far more better as compared to mechanical and other devices. We try to use electrical systems as a readout or terminating devices. So The next topic is the types of readouts. Okay, so these readout devices are mainly of two types. One is analog indicator, other one is digital indicators. Okay, indicators means we should understand analog means meters every time. Okay, your electrical meter is there, speedometer is there, like that. Meter means that is analog. There is a pointer. Now see, analog indicator, meter indicators, pointer and scale meters indicators are useful for static, comma, steady state dynamic indications. Okay, they are suitable only for static thing. There will be no vibration, hence they show correctly. Even steady state, no vibrations, the output is correct. Whereas they are not suitable for transient measurements. Why transient? Every time it changes, so definitely the indicator will not perform correctly. See, this is due to relative high inertia of the meter movement. See, meter has got a movement, that mechanical linkage will be there, spring will be there, gear will be there, something and all will be there. It's a system. So the system will have inertia. So in order to overcome that inertia, the input signal is itself is your or initiating factor for that. So some information or some signal is been or some energy is been consumed in order to overcome that inertia. Hence there is an error. That is why static things are more suitable for this meter indicators. Then these are classified. There are 2-3 types. Like one is D'Arsonval type of meter is there. Voltmeter and ohm meter or ammeters and etc. We call second type. Third one is vacuum tube voltmeters. Okay, there are 3 types of systems which are available as a readout devices. Okay, so among all these things, D'Arsonval type of meter is widely employed across. In the sense that this is D'Arsonval meter is your final or last or terminating indicating device. Okay, this type of meter is very common, which is used in measuring measuring this change in current or change in voltage. Okay, so the D'Arsonval meter will try to measure current or voltage. Then what does it consist of? So when we say there's some sort of a current or voltage meter, voltage system is there, some circuit should be there. A circuit in the sense some coil assembly should be there. Okay, and a pivoted shaft should be there. Okay, and this pivoted shaft should be in a position to rotate. Okay, so in order to rotate and bring it back to the original position, some springs need to be provided. Okay, either ends, top and bottom. Then the entire coil assembly is placed in a magnetic field. Okay, so in the sense it is mounted between a north and south pole. That is a magnetic field, what we say. So what does it consist of? A coil assembly, shaft assembly, springs, and some magnet, permanent magnet should be there. Okay, so the electric current to be measured is passed through this coil assembly, and these two interacting magnetic fields result in torque. What is that? The torque is developed because of this magnetic field and the input signal to the coil. So both the things will result in a torque which is applied to the pivot shaft assembly. In the sense that this torque will in turn be sent to the pivoted shaft. Now the shaft will be connected with a pointer, and the pointer is put against a scale which is calibrated. Okay, so this torque, then the resulting displacement of the pointer on the scale is calibrated in terms of electric current. Okay, so how much torque is developed with respect to input signal, it is the displacement of the pointer on the scale or across the scale from 0 to some point, that we will measure, and in terms of electric current, we will try to calibrate and tell what is the answer. Okay, so this principle forms the basis of most of, or also you can say all electrical meters. Okay, there are stylus and light beam, even oscillographs, okay, and all meters. The D orthogonal meter is been applied to the system. Okay, then for the next class we will try to check out what is the diagram of this D orthogonal meter, and what are the different parts and how it works. We will try to check it out. Okay boys, see you in the next class. Thank you.